So I have a very addictive personality. Um, I'm not quite sure what that means exactly, but there was always this difference where I would just want to, when I used to do heavier drugs with a lot of people, I was always the one who just wanted to keep getting higher and higher and drunker and drunker, and it was never enough. I have this thing where I just want to experience very strong levels of things, extreme sports, extreme this. And it's very pronounced in a lot of the hobbies that I do and the skills that I try to gain and the types of jobs and most of all the drugs. If I was, when I was younger, I would just drink so much, even on my own. One of my favorite things to do would just be to drink and drink until I was completely paralytic and then just listen to music on my balcony. And I loved it. There's just something in me that wants to get extremely out of it. And it's not even about being out of it, it's just I enjoy that experience. Excuse me, I have a cough today. So because of this, I've pretty much tried most things. And I wanted to make a video just talking about some of these, and there are dangers. There are obvious dangers with these drugs. The obvious ones are addiction and, all that stuff. Your physical health, your life is in danger. And you can fuck your relationships and everything. But I wanted to talk more about some of the other dangers that are more internal, such as the way they change who you are as a human, that can really fuck your life in very malicious ways, very subtle, malicious ways. So, for me, the number one no-go drug that I will never take for the rest of my life, well, there's two. One is alcohol, that's the primary, and the secondary one is any amphetamines. Alcohol, for whatever reason, it worked so well for what I wanted. I have a few drinks, and everyone used to say, when you have a few drinks, you become a normal human. And in a way, this was true, where I could just be normal. I could just laugh. I could relax and have fun with people and converse and talk. And it was just such a relief because my mind is going 1,000,000,000 miles an hour normally, trying to do all these things. And I later realized that is my gift. That is my purpose. But alcohol, the real danger of it is that people say when you're drunk you do things that you want to do anyway. I don't quite believe that. What makes us human is our ability to monitor and control our impulses. And alcohol pretty much just reduces that. We're more impulsive. We're less able to control ourselves. And the baser desires come out. We can do violent things. We can say the wrong things. We have sex with the wrong people. We cheat on our partners. We gamble. We spend money. We do drugs, do other things that we shouldn't, whatever it is. But when we're sober, we don't do these things because when we're sober, we're our humans. We're our proper human being that functions well in a society and is able to maintain friendships and relationships. Drink alcohol, that goes away. You're not a proper human anymore. You're, in a sense, more of an animal, and it becomes dangerous, the effect this has on your life. And I think that's the true danger. Obviously, it's addictive and all that stuff. For me, I was unable to control its consumption, and it always led to me doing more drugs as well. So I had to give it up forever. And it was probably the single best decision I ever made in my life. So the second one is amphetamines. I started with speed, I think, when I used to go to raves and stuff. And then I did meth. I did a lot of it. Meth is very complicated in terms of speed was very much simpler in the sense that I would take it and then I just would have heaps of energy and just want to talk to everyone. It's kind of fun. But then these come downs I would get would basically just be suicidal pain and despair. So it just wasn't worth it. But meth was different. I didn't see the same things in a lot of the times people who took speed compared to what people who took meth. And what I noticed with meth was that it just did something to someone's soul. And I know that's a weird way to explain it, but it's very consistent with my experience. Even when I meet people who take Ritalin and all those sort of ones, it's similar again. And I can see it, where it changes something to do with their empathy. It makes them feel good in a way, and it reduces their ability to maybe empathize or have these human, caring, empathetic emotions, and they become more self-serving. They become less sensitive of others' needs. And this, for me, is one of the most fundamental things that make humans survive together and get along. Excuse me. Is this empathy. But meth takes that away, and in that sense, I describe meth as taking away a person's soul. You can see it from a mile away when people have had it. And it's very scary, and this will destroy your life very quickly. It did mine, it did many people's, especially if you use needles. Even smoking it through a pipe, it's the beginning of that. But that's one thing that I will never want to be around again. Same as if someone has it, or I'm at a party, which is rare, but if I was at a party and someone had it, I would immediately leave. Because I know if I ever did it again, which is so unlikely, but if somehow I had this moment of weakness and I did it again, my life is finished. It's the same with alcohol. But meth, it takes your soul away. And it's a very difficult thing to explain, but those of you who have tried it and been around people who have had it will know exactly what I mean. And because of this, it's very dangerous, and it almost makes you not human. It makes you very dangerous, and it will wreck your life. The thing is they don't know it because it feels like they feel happy on it, right? They feel happy, they feel smarter. They feel all these things, but they're not true. You're not actually happier. You're not actually smarter. It just has this trick with your brain chemicals that makes you think all these things. But really, you're functioning in a different way. You're functioning in a more anxious, a less empathetic, and a different way to what a normal human does. And because of that, it's very dangerous for you and the people around you. I did try heroin once. I have tried opiates. For me, they were never that great. I didn't like, because they made me very sick, and I just wanted to lie down and go to sleep. The rush is great, but it was never really why I did drugs. And recently I got some more because I've had issues with the tooth, and I see very clearly what they do, and I can see the dangers of opiates because they definitely eliminate pain. But they don't just eliminate physical pain, they seem to eliminate the emotional pain, which is what makes them dangerous and addictive. What I find is if I take opiates, I don't really want to do anything. I can't really do anything. I just want to kind of sit around, and I lose my motivation. And what I realize from that is my pain is in many ways my motivation, and I think it's the same for a lot of people. We are motivated by our fear and our pain, and and a lot of things inside us, but opiates take that away. So we become unproductive. It's dangerous because of that. If we are unproductive, we lose everything. So be careful with these things. The other one is Valium, diazepam. This is by far my favorite, well, except for alcohol and stuff, but because of the long half-life of diazepam, it doesn't cause the same problems I had with alcohol. But again, it does a similar thing where it just seems to dampen this anxious part of my brain that's going, that does produce a lot of good things in my life. Not in terms of my well-being. I'm not happy because of this thing, but I'm motivated and creative. And it just dampens it a little bit where I'm able to relax a bit and to communicate, but I can still work and I can still be creative. But again, it's physically addictive, and I was many years ago physically addicted to it, and it took a year to get off this shit. It was awful. So I'm very careful with it. I try not to take it too much. It's hard to get these days anyway, so. Other than that, I've tried antidepressants. They were useless. The side effects were fucked. There are studies out there that show that affecting the serotonin doesn't actually fix depression at all. And many people say it just doesn't do much. There are people that say that it helps, but it seems rare. Depression is very complex. I believe if you're having depression and you don't have a reason for it, if something really bad didn't happen, then usually it's inflammation of the brain and issues with the gut. So cut out the carbs, cut out the unnatural foods, increase the meat and the fat, take your salt water, drink salty water, take magnesium, sodium, potassium, try a multivitamin, try probiotics if you need to. Try all these different things and fast and run and get sunlight and go to the gym and socialize. Do all these other things. I reckon 99% of the time the depression will go. These drugs seem like a bit of a scam. I rarely find people who say it helps. The side effects can be horrendous. I've tried psychedelics. I tried ketamine, which for me just kind of freaked me out. Very strong. DXM, again, had very little benefit. It was just weird, right? DMT, very hallucinogenic, but I didn't get much out of it. LSD, I hated. It's too strong. It's too artificial. The only one that I can see benefits of is psilocybin, the mushrooms. They allowed me to experience a lot of things: fear of death, fear of this, fear of that, dealing with my parents' death, all this stuff. The thing is I wasn't ready for it, and that's the thing, is they open the gateway to you experiencing yourself in ways that you may not be ready for. So the risk there is being re-traumatized. But if you're ready, if you're able to handle it, then I would say mushrooms are probably the most effective in terms of the psychedelics, where you will have experiences that you will take away from. You will take away from these experiences and remember them, and you will get benefits from them. Just be careful. Maybe have some benzos nearby or something, because it can be terrifying facing fear of death and all this shit that's happened. And I don't find them fun. They don't make me... Actually, no, I have had fun on them, but I had to go through a couple of hours of just going through every fucking shitty thing that ever happened to me. And there's some, yeah, they can be very good. So they're the only ones that for me make sense. And then there's good old weed. I always hated it because I become so paranoid. But when you're on your own and you have it, for me, I get a lot of anxiety and fear and stuff. But then when that wears off, I sometimes have all these realizations. Things are like this, or I'm like this, or this is the truth of that. And I remember them when I come down and the next day, and they're just stupid. I look back and I'm like, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Weed for me, it just does something to the mind that confuses it, and it's not in the same way as mushrooms. Is they don't seem mushrooms don't seem confusing like marijuana is. For me, anyway. Everyone's different. Marijuana also tends to make people feel content when they have no reason to be. And this feeling of discontentment is what has created everything around you. Look at everything humans have created. Walk through the shopping center, walk through the city, walk through anywhere you go. The amount of things we've created to solve problems comes from discontent. And if you're able to take a drug and be content for no reason, it pretty much destroys your life. Your life will eventually fall apart. So be careful with marijuana. I know people say it's harmless, but this one factor is the one thing that for me is makes it similar to opiates in a way, where it removes your drive. So I'm sure there's some there that I haven't thought of, but I've covered the main ones. I hope that helps you guys, and all the best.